welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review and demo on the Makeup Revolution Iconic Lights and Contour Pro palette. In this video I am going to go through kind of a little bit of a contour routine, and I'm going to take you through the colours that I'm using, why I'm using them, and how I achieved this kind of chiseled contour look. I am not a contour connoisseur. I don't really go crazy with the contouring normally. I'm not really mad on highlighting loads of my face, but this is just kind of what I do. This is how I would kind of get the best out of the palette. I really love how diverse the colours are in here. You've got such a nice range. I love that you've got these two highlighters over here, and you've also got the banana and the kind of more of a translucent kind of setting powder as well. And then you've got such a diverse range of contour colours at the bottom. You've got, I think they are 3 mattes, and then you've got a shimmery bronzer as well. And what I do isn't holy grail, and it's not really kind of the way that you have to contour, but it's just the way that I do it. And I've got some Real Techniques brushes that I'm going to be using. I'll just kind of use a mixture of different kind of brushes so that you can see how it works with different brushes in different areas. So I'm going to go in with the slightly more cool toned bronzer. I'm just going to take this on this is a Real Techniques, and it's actually called a Duo Fiber Contour Brush. I haven't actually used this for contouring before, so it's really nice to see kind of how it works. I feel like it would sit really nicely just in the socket there. So I'm going to take this one and just put it as a kind of light hand, just to do a little bit of definition to start with. I'm going to take this on a very light hand and tapping off kind of excess, because these are really nice, really pigmented. And then I'm going to take the same colour, just take it up to my hairline. And then just along the jawline. There's so many choices, and I don't think you have to use every single shade when you are contouring. I'm going to try and use as many shades as I can just while I'm doing it. I read that they designed this so it can be used on multiple skin tones, and you've got darker shades and through lighter shades, and you've got warmer ones, more ashy ones. Then I'm going to go in with the slightly warmer shade, which is this one. I'm going to take this very small Real Techniques contour brush and just tapping off the excess. Sometimes I just brush it on the back of my hand like that, just to make sure that I haven't got too much on. Because you want to kind of build with it. You don't want to make it like, sometimes you get too excited when you're contouring. Well, I've done it before. Got too excited and I've put some on, you've got like a really sharp, harsh line, or it goes really muddy, and then you're trying to blend it all out. So it's better to kind of put little bit by little bit and build it up, rather than having some and then you have to kind of start all over again, which is never good. And I'm just going to be taking this on more detailed areas that I'd like to contour, kind of like down the nose and again through the jawline, and just for a little bit more of precision contouring. I'm just intensifying the contour that we had a little bit on the cheeks as well. Okay, next up I'm going to kind of just blend all of that together and then continue building on it. I'm going to be taking the bronzy shade. This has got a little bit of shimmer through it, this shade, and I'm just going to be popping that kind of similar areas again, but more bronzing this time rather than contouring. Always remember to bring it down onto your neck. The last thing that you want is to have a nicely bronzed, contoured face and then a white neck. I'm going to leave that there for now, before I lastly go on to the darker shade. I will go on to that on the end, just to kind of touch up and intensify any bits that I want to, after we've done a little bit more highlighting and brightening kind of under the eyes. And I actually used quite a few of these colours on my eyes today. I used this shade just to set the eyes, and then for my transition shades and just to warm up the crease, I kind of went from light to dark, just so it ties in nicely with the eyes and the face, and they work really nicely and they blend really nicely in the eyes. So if you're travelling, or if you kind of just want some new brown shades but don't want to splash out on contour palette and eyeshadows and spending lots of money on lots of different products, you can use these for multi-purpose, so you can just use these on the eyes as well. So I'm going to be taking this shade, which is kind of like a translucent shade, just under my eyes, just to brighten that area. This is just a brush that I've got. It came in a set, like a French Connection brush set, and I love this just to get under the eyes. I think it fits kind of perfectly in my under eye area. I think everyone will kind of have their own personal preference to the brush that kind of fits nicely under their eyes and is comfortable as well. So I'm just pressing that on and then just lightly kind of brushing it down so that it just nicely blends into the contour that we've just put on. You see, like, it's really brightened up under my eyes. Then I'm going to do the same, just taking it down the bridge of my nose. I am not one for majorly highlighting, doing a lot of crazy highlights, because I have oily skin and I find like it gets quite shiny throughout the day anyway, so I don't really want to go in when I add loads and loads of extra shine before it then gets shiny. So I think these highlighting shades are absolutely stunning. They're just the two on the side here. But you can see how intensely kind of pigmented these are if I just pop it on the back of my hand. You can see how nice and shimmery. I use this one to highlight my brow bone today, and I'm going to be using this shade just to do a tiny little bit of highlighting just on the Cupid's bow, down my nose, and then just across my cheekbones here. I think I'm actually just going to use my finger to do this. Next I'm going to go in with the darkest shade in the palette, which is just this one here, and I'm going to kind of go over what we did before and intensify it even more, just to make sure that none of the contouring that we did to start with got blended out when we brightened up under our eyes and highlighted. And I might just run a tiny little bit more of the warmer shade that we had originally down our nose, just down there again. And the last thing that I'm going to do is take the banana shade in the palette, which is just this one here. I'm going to use the same brush that we used to brighten up under our eyes. I'm going to take it along the jawline here just to sharpen up the contour. There we go. And any last bits that you just want to blend together, just take your fluffy brush, blend them all together to make sure that it's all as you would like, all nicely blended. And I guess that's kind of it. I mean, that's really kind of how I would contour. I mean, this is a tiny bit more extreme than I would normally do, but I just wanted to try and get the most out of the palette and show you kind of everything that I could use in the palette. If I want to exaggerate my cheekbones a little bit, I might use a more precise brush. If I want to have a little bit more definition in my nose, again, I will use a smaller brush, and then I'll go in with a bigger fluffy brush just to kind of blend everything together and make sure it's nice and natural. But if you are after a more chiseled contour kind of look, then definitely build up. Start lighter, work your way up and go darker. As a whole, I really like this palette. I think it's really easy to use. It's affordable. This palette was only £8. I was actually signed up to their app, so when I bought it, I got some money off. I really think for the price, for how pigmented they are, how blendable they are, I really think it's worth it. And if you want to kind of start to get into contouring, but you're a bit kind of nervous to go for a really, really high-end brand like an Anastasia Beverly Hills, nice and cheap and easy to use, and it's got all the colours that you would need, then I would definitely say go for this one. You've got all of these colours to play around with. If you really want like a cool toned contour, then you can do that. If you want to keep it nice and warm, then you can. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if I've done anything different in my kind of contour routine that you would do. If you use different brushes that you find work better, just let me know. Let's have a little chat about contouring below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!